Hello everyone, with the Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Saturday evening, November 29, 2025. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you all like this video. I'd really appreciate it if you all get this video to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak months of Atlantic hurricane season, that's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Please ensure that you all utilize the progress bar that's located at the bottom of the video, as well as the timestamps which are located not only in the comment section but the video description, so that you can skip to the point in the video that you want to see the most in order to save time, because we know that the videos over here with the Jamaica can be very long. Leave a comment down below letting me know what the that's been like in your area recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Taking a look at the US National Hurricane Center's 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook that just came out at 6:03 p.m. we can see that tropical cyclone activity is not expected during the next 7 days, and this is the reason why nothing here across the Atlantic that is trying to develop and acquire the next name on the list, which is Nestor, at all. The surface map, however, still shows that we have that frontal system extending from northern portion of North Atlantic all the way down to the Bahamas, Cuba, and the Western Caribbean. You can see that we have a trough right here to the northeast of the Caribbean, another trough right here just to the north of the main development region, and a trough to the south of that one across the main development region. And we see the red line associated with the intertropical convergence zone spread out across the southern main development region into Africa. And we can see a ridge of high pressure to the north that we know is responsible for sending all of the easterly trade winds across the main development region into the Caribbean. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before we lost sunlight, we can make out the clouds associated with that frontal system extending down to the Bahamas and the Western Caribbean, Cuba as well. We can see the clouds associated with that trough right here to the north of the main development region, that other trough right here across the southern main development region. There's also another trough right here to the northeast of the Caribbean, and we can see the low level and mid-level flow of the clouds being steered from east to west, all courtesy of the ridge of high pressure to the north. We can see some cloud showers and thunderstorms down here across the southern and southwestern Caribbean, and a lot of upper level wind shear blowing cloud tops off towards the north and east. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Saturday, November 29, 2025. It was stated in yesterday's video that it would have rained in the morning across sections of eastern parishes in Jamaica, also affecting sections of some eastern, southern, and western parishes during the afternoon. And we know that eastern parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey, like Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, and St. Andrew. Central parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of, western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. While when we're referring to our our southern parishes, we're talking about those parishes on the bottom side. So, we're referring to Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Thomas. And what ended up happening? At around 3:35 p.m., the visible satellite images were posted not only here on our Twitter page with the Jamaica, but they were also posted on our Instagram page with the Jamaica, on our TikTok page with the Jamaica, and on our Facebook page with the Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there as we make posts throughout the day that you cannot afford to miss. So we can see the clouds coming in from the east that brought some overcast skies, if not some isolated showers, to sections of eastern Jamaica. We also have some thunder showers across sections of inland areas of some central and western parishes. So we're talking about sections of northern St. Andrew, so too sections of northern St. Catherine, Clarendon, northern Clarendon into northern Manchester, northern St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover, southern St. James, Trelawney. Definitely got in on some of the thunderstorm activity, and we can see it all even better right here, the HD visible satellite imagery right here, showing all the clouds that brought us the overcast sky activity. and the isolated thunder shower activity. And we can see the thunder shower activity even better. All of these blues, greens, yellows, oranges, reds that represents that cumulonimbus cloud cover. And we can make out the upper level wind shear blowing those cloud tops off towards the northeast, just as we stated it would. And we can even make out the sparkling white dots in there that we know represent somewhat of lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes, especially across inland areas of some central and western parishes. Unfortunately, we don't have the Jamaican Doppler radar to show, but we have the live camera from Jamaica's YouTube channel showing halfway through in St. Andrew this afternoon. Yes, we had some clouds here and there across northern St. Andrew, the hills of St. Andrew, but not really down here in the halfway tree area at all. We had a lot of people walking about, going about their business. Definitely dry conditions for the most part, as you can see there, sunny as well. Nothing in the way of bad weather taking place at all. And if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just visit Jamaica on YouTube. They have these live streams all for you all to view for free, so subscribe today to this channel so that you don't miss out. And even the total accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the CIMH, that's the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, confirms where we had that rainfall today across sections of some eastern, central, and western parishes for sure. And we have only a few comments that came in from some of our followers about what the weather was like in their area today. On our Instagram page, we had 876eggs_and_poultry_farm stating it's raining in Manchester. We also have a Marlon_OneGod_ sitting place cool weather Jamaica. I hope we get cool breeze in December. Alright, thank you all for the comments confirming what the weather is like in your area for today. Let us reload the very latest still image from the Weather News website, the latest Cuban Doppler radar imagery, the latest Guantanamo Bay US Navy radar imagery. We want to see exactly what's happening across the island right now. Unfortunately, the Cayman radar and the Jamaican Doppler radar, they're still down. It looks like the Cuban Doppler radar is down too, in a way, because it was just showing November 28, then it flipped over to show November 29, and then it was only still showing 10 a.m. so it's a bit outdated, still glitching out here and there. But the latest still image here from the Weather News website is showing 0115 UTC, which is actually 8:15 p.m. so this just came out 8 minutes ago, considering that it is 8:23 p.m. right now. And as you can see, some leftover clouds from what took place today, but clearly we have some thunderstorms just to the east of the island right now. Look at the blues into the greens, yellows, oranges, reds, not to mention the sparkling white that's right here just to the east of St. Thomas and Portland. And we only have to depend right here on the Guantanamo Bay US Navy radar. They're stopping it right there, so it's showing 0058, so it's showing 7:58 p.m. but we're seeing the rain bands out to the east of the island between Haiti and Jamaica. Right here to the east of Portland and St. Thomas, we see the blues, greens, yellows. They represent some light to moderate, even some heavy rainfall down in here. So it's definitely making sense with what we're seeing on the infrared satellite imagery. Some thunderstorms are just to the east of us, and some of these rain bands could definitely make it onshore in the eastern parishes tonight. We definitely saw that on the future forecast, so some early morning rainfall for a section of Portland into St. Thomas for sure, maybe the 1 a.m. time frame, maybe even sooner than that. Regarding what's happening right now, the live camera from Jamaica's YouTube channel showing the flat bridge. As you can see here, people driving about, going about their business. People in, well, you know, they're going about their business. It's dry conditions, as you can see here. Nothing in the way of bad weather taking place right now, but if we rewind the timestamps, we can definitely see that we had some rainfall there in that part of St. Catherine today. Definitely soaking wet. They indicate that they got in on some isolated afternoon thundershower. Look at this. This was at around 2:19 p.m. so moderate to heavy rainfall at that, but nothing, you know, to cause the river to change color. It wasn't that significant at all. Taking a look at the live camera here, well, the temperatures right now, we can say we have 25 degrees Celsius in both Montego Bay and Kingston, and by about 4 a.m. on Sunday, temperature should have down to about 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 22 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, This map from the GFS is valid for 18th on Sunday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Sunday, and we see Jamaica shaded in the grays. That represents 0, that's average temperatures. I know the average temperature for the month of November across Jamaica is around 88 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's converted to degrees Celsius that we use here in Jamaica. That's around 31.1 degrees Celsius. So that should be Jamaica's temperature forecast for Sunday. And regarding the latest here, from my JPS online Twitter page, no maintenance outage advisory, but they're still hard at work to get those persons who are affected by Melissa back on the grid. They posted recently stating, Bambo St. Anne, we're working to replace poles and prep the grid for safe and timely restoration. The challenge, rocky terrain is making access and digging for new poles difficult. The goal, despite the hard ground, we're working non-stop to get you all restored. And here they posted some pictures. Workers hard at work here and there in the trucks for sure. This is a very good look. Hopefully everybody gets back on the grid in time for Christmas. And we have some tips right here to beat the heat as usual. It states here, seek shade when outside. Eat first. Try eating cold foods such as salads and fruits. Rest. Make sure you get enough sleep and rest if you're feeling tired. Soak. Take a cool shower or bath to help you cool down. And I cannot stress enough the importance of staying hydrated throughout the day. Drink lots of water even if you're not thirsty, and put away those sugary drinks and drink water instead. Taking a look at the dry air map, we know that the dry air is represented by what we see here on the key on the bottom. The yellows, the oranges, the reds, and the white within those reds. You can see a lot of dry air across the waters to the north of the main development region, extending to the western main development region and the eastern Caribbean. Some dry air into the Gulf as well. We know that the dry air is responsible for shutting down the atmosphere in general, making it harder for it to rain. It's stable conditions in general, but we see that there's a lot of moist air where we have the frontal system, a lot of moist air in the Caribbean. We also have a lot of moist air across the main development region where we have the intertropical convergence zone and the cloud toss being sheared out towards the east by that upper level wind shear. We don't really want much moist air, but we are having it across the Caribbean. We're going to be getting even more rainfall tomorrow. Regarding the next 3 days, now we're heading into November 30, December 1, and December 2. And as you can see across the Caribbean, we should be in the clear. We know that the Saharan dust is represented by the greens, yellows, oranges, and pinks. And we don't see much of that coming across the main development region at all. And we're grateful for that, because we know that the Saharan dust can definitely cause hazy skies, not to mention trigger some amount of respiratory illnesses in some persons. Regarding the wave forecast for tomorrow, across the Caribbean, we're seeing the blues for the most part representing 1 to 1.5, maybe even up to 2 meter wave heights. And that is because of the easterly winds that are expected, averaging anywhere from 10 to 15, maybe even up to 20 knot winds. But zooming in on Jamaica's wave forecast for tomorrow, up to 0.9 of a meter wave height expected on Sunday to the north of Portland, to the north of St. Anne, 0.8 of a meter wave height expected, to the north of Hanover, 0.7 of a meter wave height expected, to the south of Westmoreland, 0.5 of a meter wave height expected, to the south of Clarendon, 0.7 of a meter wave height expected, while to the south of St. Thomas, have 1.3 meter wave height expected. And that is because of the winds that are expected. We see that easterly flow of the wind averaging about 16 knots to the south of St. Thomas, 16 knots to the south of Manchester, to the north of St. Anne up to 13 knots. And we see where the air is expected to pile up across sections of some central and western parishes. That's where we have the least amount of wind. That is where we could have some of these low-level clouds becoming mid-level rain clouds, if not upper-level cumulonimbus clouds. And we have a switch in the upper level wind shear tomorrow, so coming in more so from the west northwest tomorrow, so it could favor more of that rainfall on the south coast for sure. I mean, look at what happened today. The upper level wind shear was blowing those clouds up towards the northeast, bringing more overcast skies, if not the thunderstorms section of the north coast more so than the south coast. I mean, section of southern St. James, southern Trelawney definitely got on the thunderstorm activity. So it could be a case tomorrow where we have the upper level wind shear blowing like this, blowing those cloud tops up towards the southeast, more overcast skies, maybe even more of that rainfall on the south coast for sure. And regarding the actual rainfall forecast maps now, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both valid for 10 a.m. and remember what we stated, it could even rain in the early morning hours for eastern parishes, maybe St. Thomas, Portland for 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. on Sunday, given that we already have the rain bands out there. We saw the Doppler radar imagery here, some light to moderate to even some heavy rainfall just to the east of us. We see the thunderstorms right in here just to the east of us. Some of that could meander onshore. And then by 10 a.m. even more rainfall coming into the east, St. Thomas, Portland. And then by afternoon, look at what both the models are showing. The Euro and the GFS are in agreement that especially central and western parishes should be shaded in some blues represent rainfall. So that's 3 p.m. for sections of Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland, maybe western Portland, section of Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Catherine, northern Clarendon, northern Manchester, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland. The Euro trying to incorporate section of Portland and St. Thomas in that rainfall, but we're not really seeing that on the GFS. We'll see it actually plays out. And even the total accumulated precipitation forecast maps here from the Euro and the GFS are in agreement that there's going to be some amount of rainfall tomorrow. Both maps right here are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Sunday. We see the Euro going up to at least 0.75 of an inch of rainfall. The GFS going up to at least 0.41 of an inch of rainfall. We'll see it actually plays out, and whatever happens, we just have to take it. We're in the month of November. We're wrapping it up. And in Westmoreland, we usually receive 105 millimeters of rainfall this month. That's about the same as 4.1 inches of rainfall. While in St. Mary, we usually receive 139 millimeters of rainfall this month. That's about the same as 5.5 inches of rainfall. And if you'd like to find out what your specific parish usually receives in terms of rainfall for the month of November or for the entire year, you can visit nomadseason.com, and that website to show that information. Alright, so we're going to be looking at what the next 7 days have in store for us according to the latest Euro and GFS supercomputer model runs that came out today. So keep your eyes focused on the timestamp right here at the top as we go out to the next 168 hours. Keep your eyes focused on Jamaica right down here as we look for all of this that we see on the key on the right. That's the reds, the oranges, the yellows, and the greens represents inches of rainfall. So let's see what's going to be taking place. Or is that in millimeters? Okay. I guess I've been reading this wrong for years. It's in millimeters. Why did I think it was in inches? What a revelation. It's stating millimeters per hour precipitation rate. Wow, I can't believe I'm just noticing this. So it represents millimeters of rainfall. Millimeters. Why did I ever think that it was in inches? Maybe I'm mixing it up with this one. This one is in inches, as you can see right there. I know that it only takes 25 millimeters of rainfall to, make it up to an inch of rainfall. So 25 millimeters is about the same as 1 inch. Wow, I'm shocked. I didn't know that it was actually 25. It was millimeters that this map was recorded in. I could have sworn it was inches. Alright. Never too late to learn something. Alright, so as you can see here, we're going to be looking at what's expected on Monday. And as you know, we just looked at Sunday's forecast. 12Z on Monday is actually 7 a.m. And what the Euro is showing for 7 a.m. on Monday, some greens represent rainfall to the north of us, to the east of us, to the south of us. And then on Monday afternoon, we're seeing the rainfall across sections of some central and eastern parishes. What does the GFS show? Monday morning, rainfall to the north, west, and south of us. Then on Monday afternoon, we're seeing that rainfall across eastern, central, and western parishes. What do we see on Tuesday morning on the Euro? Tuesday morning, rainfall to the north of us. Tuesday afternoon, rainfall across eastern and western parishes. What does the GFS show? Tuesday morning, rainfall across northeastern parishes. Then Tuesday afternoon, rainfall across what looks like northern and western parishes. What do we see on a Wednesday? Euro showing not much of anything across Jamaica. Wednesday afternoon, not much of anything either. GFS Wednesday morning, rainfall to the northeast of us. Wednesday afternoon, not really much. Maybe some ice signatures across the northeast. What do we see on Thursday morning? Thursday morning, rainfall across northeastern parishes. Thursday afternoon, rainfall across eastern, central, and western parishes. What does the GFS show? Thursday morning, rainfall across northeastern parishes once again, and even the northwest. Thursday afternoon, rainfall across northeastern parishes still. What do we see on Friday into Saturday now? Friday morning, rainfall still affecting northeastern parishes. Friday afternoon, rainfall across northeastern parishes and even some western parishes, and we're stopping it right here at the end of the 168 hours. So this is valid for Saturday, December 6th, and we see some rainfall still affecting northeastern parishes, and we're also seeing an increase in the rainfall across the waters to the south of us, dark greens into the yellows, splitting into section of Honduras, Nicaragua. There's the GFS show for Friday into Saturday. Friday morning, rainfall across the northeast. Friday afternoon, rainfall across the north and even the southern and western parishes. And just like on the year, we're stopping it on Saturday, December 6th as well. We're seeing an increase in the moisture to the south of us, so definitely showing something similar. We're also seeing what looks like a significant frontal trough or flow pressure or frontal system across the southern and eastern United States by that time period. We'll see it plays out. And regarding the total accumulated precipitation for the next 7 days, both maps right here from the Euro and the GFS are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until Saturday, December 6th. And we're seeing this rainfall total in inches. So it's definitely in inches right here. And we know the dark reds into the purples into the pinks represents anywhere from 2 all the way up to 5 inches of rainfall. We see a lot of rainfall across the waters to the northeast of the Caribbean associated with that trough. Intertropical convergent zone extending into Guyana, Trinidad, and Tobago, Venezuela right here with some of those rainfall totals. Southern Venezuela, Western Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica into Nicaragua right here. Some decent rainfall totals that could trigger some amount of isolated flash flooding, and we see the GFS showing something similar over the next 7 days. While other areas that are shaded in the green, yellows, oranges, and red should be getting in on an inch of rainfall or less for the most part. We're talking about much of Central America into the Bahamas, Greater Antilles, into the Lesser Antilles. But if we zoom in on Jamaica's rainfall totals for the next 7 days, both maps right here from the Euro and the GFS are also showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until Saturday, December 6th. And clearly the most rainfall should be across the northeast, both the Euro and the GFS malls heading up into the greens and the yellows, even into the oranges. Represents anywhere from 15 all the way up to a total of 61 here on the Euro. The GFS is anywhere from 15 all the way up to 54 here. We'll see it actually plays out. Definitely gonna be getting on some decent rainfall in the Portland area for sure. Regarding what's happening across the rest of the basin, as stated, trough right here pushing from east west, a lot of low to mid-level clouds being steered from east west across the Caribbean as we speak. Upper level wind shear blowing cloud tops off towards the northeast, frontal system into the Bahamas, Cuba, and northwestern Caribbean. Intertropical convergent zone trough right in here to the south of that trough. We saw it on the surface map. And if we take a look at the Doppler radar images, what's taking place down here near Puerto Rico, we see a lot of greens, hit or miss isolated showers in the greens, light to moderate rainfall at that right here across northern Puerto Rico, in and around the US and British Virgin Islands, in and around the Leeward Islands, eastern Dominican Republic, getting in on some of the action. And loading these images from earlier today, we saw we were getting in on that rainfall activity across the area throughout today. Regarding the Barbados radar, we're still seeing moisture pushing in from east, northeast, west, southwest. Right here across the Grenadines, Grenada, Trinidad, and Tobago, getting on some of the action. We're also seeing a lot of moisture to the north of Barbados, hit or miss isolated showers pushing in from the east, if not the east northeast, into sections of eastern and southern Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines, getting on some of that as well. Regarding the weather Doppler radar images, we can make out some rainfall in and around the ABC Islands, section of Venezuela, so to Colombia, Belize, just to the north of western Cuba, pushing from east to west as well. Some rainfall into the Dominican Republic and Haiti too. And regarding where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, in inches, as you can see, all of these areas that are shaded in the green, yellows, oranges, and reds should be getting an inch of rainfall or less. So we're talking about sections of Cuba, and the Bahamas, Jamaica, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico. Definitely less rainfall for the Leeward Islands within the next 24 hours, but we see it shaded in the green, maybe up to 0.25 inch of rainfall. Guadeloupe getting in on some of the action as well. So to section of Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines, Grenada, Trinidad, and Tobago, Barbados, Guyana, coastal Suriname, southern Venezuela, western Venezuela, section of the ABC Islands, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, eastern Nicaragua, Honduras, and Belize, and the eastern portion of the Yucatan. And we can clearly see that both the Euro and the GFS malls are in agreement with this forecast. Regarding what's happening across the eastern Pacific, as you can see here, tropical cyclone activity is not expected during the next 7 days, and this is the reason why. Nothing trying to develop at all. A lot of upper level wind shear out there, tearing these thunderstorms off towards the northeast, and it doesn't seem like anything is going to acquire the name sunny at all. Hurricane season's about to wrap up. But regarding what's happening here on the Indian Ocean and the western Pacific side of things, the Joint Typhoon Warning Center is still monitoring 3 entities, still watching Tropical Cyclone Ditwa, Tropical Depression number 34 that has been lashing Indonesia with a lot of flooding, and Tropical Storm Koto right here to the east of Vietnam. As you can see, we can see that Tropical Depression right down here, a lot of thunderstorm. Tropical Storm, what's it called again? Koto, right here spinning away just to the east of Vietnam, to the west of the Philippines. Regarding the latest here, and Tropical Cyclone Ditwa, it is somewhere right here now just to the north of Sri Lanka. They've been getting in a lot of rainfall. They were hit with the system. It is now back to 30 knot wind, so definitely, well, if it's not a tropical cyclone, it's on the verge of diminishing tropical depression status for sure, and it's still expected to push northward and then die down. As a matter of fact, tomorrow it should be it should be dead out of here. We have footage here from Volcaholic regarding what this cyclone has been doing. Cyclone Ditwa stated landslides and flooding have killed at least 153 people in Sri Lanka after Cyclone Ditwa, officials said on Saturday, with 191 still missing and more than half a million people is what I should have said, affected nationwide. I mean, look at the crazy landslide that took place. Boy, it only takes so much rain to cause such landslides. I mean, look how the hill just, slid down. Like, what? Is there anything else about this system? Okay. Alright, so we're moving on now to Tropical Depression number 34 that has been lashing Indonesia right here. They've been flooding out. As of right now, it is packing 25 knot wind, so it's definitely a tropical depression, expected to disintegrate as well as it pushes towards the northeast. We have footage here from Volcaholic as well, stating the death toll from floods and landslides on the Indonesian island of Sumatra has risen to 303 according to the National Disaster Agency. And yes, they've been getting flooded here in Indonesia for sure. This is just one video here. Well, I guess I should have shown this earlier, stating the death toll in Sri Lanka's region has reached 153. I think this is basically stating the same thing that Volcaholic stated, but different footage. Yuva province, Sri Lanka, showing the crazy flooding for sure. And finally, okay, another video regarding that cyclone. This morning, severe flooding triggered by cyclone Senyar in Rekspana in West Province, Sri Lanka. And there we have it, more flooding coming out of that country. Alright, so the last system now, we have Tropical Storm Koto right here to the east of Vietnam. Boy, Vietnam can't catch a break. They've been getting systems all year, and now there's one just to the east of the island. It is packing 45 knot winds. That systems that pack anywhere from 34 to 64 knot winds are classified as tropical storm, so it's definitely somewhere close to medium range tropical storm right now. It is expected to continue pushing northeastward and then curve towards the west and then towards the southwest, making landfall in Vietnam by around the 2nd day of December into the 3rd day of December right there as a 30 knot tropical depression. We'll see. And okay, I guess we have another footage, another video right here. I don't know why they're scattered all over the place. It states the death toll from the floods and landslides in Indonesia has risen to 303. But look at the murky water and the mud that the first responders have to be going through. This is just a bad situation. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.